Well, Miami's going to the playoffs. I don't know what to say. First of all, I expected Miami to make the playoffs, so this isn't much of a surprise to me. But what chance do they have to really go on a run? You're going up against a Milwaukee Bucks team that's literally one of the main powerhouses, not only just in the Eastern Conference, but in the NBA in general. How much of a chance does Miami have against Milwaukee? In the matchup, how well do you think Miami can play here? I think they'll be prepared for game one because they have to play in the play-in tournament, so they'll be more zoned in, whereas Milwaukee, they had that time, that break, they're going to be rusty. But I don't know what Miami could do in the first round. If I had 100% confidence that they could beat the Bucks, I could sit back and say, yeah, we got an upset coming. But I'm not sure they can do so. I've watched this team throughout the entire season, and just nights like this is what seriously concerns me. Jimmy Butler, again, 31 points tonight. That's just Jimmy Butler. That's what he does. He bounced back from that bad performance he had against the Hawks in that first play-in tournament matchup, which was still embarrassing. I don't know how Miami got beat that bad, but they just did not show up to play. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, 31 points. But he did have help. Max Strus also had 31 points today, and he made 7 of Miami's 10 3-pointers made tonight. You're not going to get a performance like that from Strus consistently. It took a crazy performance from Max Strus to get this done, because Jimmy's going to get his. He's not going to go multiple games, like back-to-back games where he's just not playing well. That's just not what Jimmy's going to do. Jimmy was going to get his tonight. 31 points, he was efficient. Well, he wasn't efficient shooting the ball, but, he was efficient down the stretch when he needed to be. So we knew Jimmy was going to get his, but somebody had to come with him. And Max Strus just happened to be the guy tonight. Tyler Hero struggled to shoot the ball again. I don't know what to say. I legitimately don't know what to say. I have concerns. The pieces that are supposed to be here for our future in Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, they didn't have spectacular games. I will say this, though. Of course, Bam defensively was great again tonight. That's just what Bam does. We know what he is as a defensive player. Offensively, when it comes to scoring the basketball, it's just not there. He struggled. He was 1 for 9. 1 for 9 shooting the basketball today. But there was a bright side. The man had like 17 rebounds. It was 17 or 18. He was rebounding the ball like crazy. So that was big. But still, it's cool for them to get the win and get into the playoffs. You never want to miss the playoffs. You were at the 7th spot, and you were going up against a team that was under 500. Obviously, you would want to beat them and get into the playoffs. It would suck if you missed it, but I don't know how much of a chance Miami has. I really don't. And this game was an example. Like, they struggled. They struggled for much of this game. Strus was shooting the ball well, and they still were struggling. Hell, until like the last 3 minutes of the game, it looked like Chicago was getting ready to take over. Because, like, Chicago, no matter what Miami did, Chicago was right there. Early on, Miami had it. They were controlling it in the first quarter. They were doing well. Chicago, they continued to fight back. Miami went on a little bit of a run to end the quarter. Not to end the quarter, to end the half. They went into halftime with the lead. Once again, Chicago kept fighting back and forth affair, and they end the third quarter with a 1-point lead. We go into the fourth quarter, and things are getting crazy. DeRozan is just hitting crazy shots. He's fully contested shots. He's hitting it, getting and ones. You got Kobe White hitting 3 crucial threes for them that was just consistently making Tyler Hero look foolish on all of those threes. Like, my God, how many times? You're just leaving the dude wide open at the top of the key. What are you doing? And where was the adjustment for that? The Bulls kept running that play, and Miami kept with this mentality trying to double team and trap. When the ball was in DeRozan or Levine's hands, they just kept trying to trap them, and that was leaving guys wide open. And there were plenty of times where they were able to capitalize on that. Now, down the stretch, that kind of changed. And I think I got to look at Billy Donovan, because I think he has to take a good chunk of the blame here. Kobe White was hitting some good shots in the fourth quarter. You don't take that guy out if he's hitting from the three. The Chicago Bulls aren't exactly a premier three-point shooting team. You have Kobe White here in the fourth quarter. He's shooting the ball well. 3 threes in the fourth alone. He is helping you get this lead. You don't take him out. You don't. You took him out. And all of a sudden, you took him out to add some defense. And all of a sudden, you guys couldn't buy a shot. Yeah, we're forcing up shots. Things weren't going well. Meanwhile, Miami found a way to compose themselves. Jimmy Butler was continuing to be Jimmy Butler, just driving to the basket, setting his teammates up, or just bullying his way to the basket, putting it up, getting and ones, and just doing what he had to do. Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. That's what I expect. But, yeah, I got to look at Billy Donovan. I mean, he took out Kobe White. But what was even worse for me was, it was about, a minute 13 left. It wasn't like a minute 13. It was a minute 20-something left as Jimmy's coming up the court. He's driving, got like nearly 3 defenders. No, he had 2 defenders. DeRozan was guarding Strus. He dropped down to try and trap Jimmy. Jimmy just passes it to the corner to Strus, and Strus pops the 3. Bam, he hits it. 5-point game. A minute 13 left at that point. I thought that Billy Donovan should have called a timeout. They had 2 timeouts left. It's a 5-point game. You should have called a timeout there because the momentum had already switched. The momentum has switched. Call a timeout, make the substitution, bring back Kobe White because you need that 3-point shooting. I think he should have done that there. Instead, he continued to let them play. And boy, when he let them play, they didn't do nothing with it. Next thing you know, Bam blocks the ball. We get the ball back. It's under a minute. Going down the court again. Here comes Jimmy. Driving, getting the double team. Passes out to Strus. He's in the corner for 3. He pulls up. He misses. But Alex Caruso fouls him. He goes to the free throw line for 3 free throws. And that's the game. Billy Donovan challenged that play, but it was clear contact. So I just look at Billy Donovan and I got to say, you waited too long. Like, taking out Kobe White, if you wanted to give him a breather, fine. But I just think at that moment, the way he was cooking, the way he was hitting those threes, he was on fire. You don't take him out the game in that moment when the game's that close. You got to keep your shooters in. Even if you're going to lose some defense, you got to keep your shooter in. And I felt he shouldn't have done that. What's worse is that once the momentum really switched, within the final minute, he had 2 timeouts. I felt he should have called it. Usually I would say, yeah, wait until under a minute to call one of your 2 timeouts. But in that situation, the momentum switched. It's a 5-point game. Call a timeout, get your shooter back in, and get the team regathered. But he didn't do that. So I feel like Billy Donovan, he's got to take a huge responsibility for this loss. Zach LaVine was a no-show tonight. Credit to the Miami defense. They literally just double-teamed the hell out of him. It didn't matter about DeRozan. DeRozan was getting double-teamed. He was still finding ways to hit shots and get to the free throw line. But with LaVine, bro, when they double-teamed him, he had no answer. He had 15 points tonight. He had no answer. He did not help out, which was unfortunate because, of course, he was the reason they won against Toronto, had that huge performance. He just didn't have it. Maybe he was gassed from that performance against the Raptors, but he just did not have it tonight. Miami's defense was good enough to contain him, and that's all she wrote. So, yeah, Miami's heading to the playoffs. And again, as a Heat fan, I guess I'm happy that we didn't miss the playoffs because it would have sucked. Being a 7 seed, by normal standards, we should have made the playoffs. We lose in an embarrassing fashion to the Atlanta Hawks in a game that we really shouldn't have lost. Then you're going up against a Chicago Bulls team that had a record under 500. Losing to them would have been horrible. But they found a way to win, and it's on to the playoffs for an interesting first-round matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I guess this is going to be the trilogy, but I'm not expecting much out of this because, of course, in the bubble, we knocked them out in 5 games. In the second round, the year afterwards, we knocked them out in 5 games on our way to get to the NBA Finals where we lost to the Lakers. The following year, here comes Giannis and the Bucks. This time they got Jrue Holiday. They're revamped. They're ready to go. They sweep us. I will say this. We were dealing with injuries throughout the season. It's similar to what we dealt with this year, but it was a little bit worse back then. This year, we just didn't make the right moves. We lost talent. It wasn't losing talent due to injuries, though we did suffer injuries. It was more so like losing talent and not really replacing it. So it was unfortunate. But yeah, the following year, we got swept. We got completely swept, and the Bucks went on to win an NBA championship. Now here we are 2 years later, and I guess this is supposed to be the trilogy, but I'm not expecting much. No matter what happens, I just hope that it's an interesting series. I don't know how long it's going to go, honestly. Maybe they could force it to 6. I don't know, but I'm just hoping it's an interesting series. That's all I can hope for as a Heat fan. Maybe they pull off the upset. I'll say this as a Miami Heat fan, with every fiber of my body and soul, I am hoping and praying for a first round upset, because if they can find a way to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, then I would have complete confidence in their ability to beat anybody else moving forward. So who the hell knows what's going to happen? In reality, this is like a 4 or 5 game series, but as a Heat fan, I'm just going to hope for the best. As for Chicago, this is it for you. It's been a very, very tough season. Injuries have kind of taken everything from you guys. The constant injuries with some of your key players. Obviously, just losing Lonzo for the entire year. It's been tough. It's been very tough for Bulls fans. You were hopeful that you could be better this year, but with Lonzo's situation being the way it is right now, there's not really much to look at. You know, it was a hell of a game by DeRozan, who was really trying to carry this team, but they fall short, and they're gonna have to go into the offseason and assess how things are looking for their team and how things will look moving forward for them. So we'll see what happens. It is what it is. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Miami's going to the playoffs. Hooray. I mean, if we go to the playoffs and get swept, then what did we really accomplish? Like, if we go to the playoffs and get swept, I would be disgusted. I would have preferred the lottery pick. Why would I want to watch my team go to the playoffs just to get swept? So, hopefully, it's an interesting series. Hopefully, it goes to like 6 or 7. But realistically, it's a 4 or 5 game series. And the Milwaukee struggles, I would have serious, legitimate concerns for the Bucks championship, their championship hopes and their championships chances. Because if you're struggling against this Miami team, yeah, I don't know if you're going to take down a team like Boston or Philly or anybody in the Western Conference. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Miami pulls off the upset, and me as a Heat fan, I'll explode and say, you know what, we can beat anybody now. You beat Milwaukee, you can beat anybody. But I don't see that really happening. We'll see what happens, though. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching. That game really drained me. Like, with like 4 minutes left, I really thought it was over. Just the way Miami just looked, the fact that just nothing was happening, and Chicago was getting quality shots, and then all of a sudden Miami just goes on this 12-1 run to pretty much end the game, and it's just like, what just happened? Crazy. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Thank you, and with that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.